Somewhere out there, yours truly, John Kenneth Hutchison, broadcasting live. We have a motor generator sitting here on a bunch of wood and stuff, running away very happily. I'll zoom in on the two wires, black and red, which are connected to a ground rod over there. Added to the ground rod was a bit of copper sulfate, copper filings, and a bit of water. But the interesting part about all this too is we have a wire running up into the tree. And if I can zoom in, we can possibly see the copper. Hardly see it, so I'll stand up on here. There we are. Copper. This copper was treated by yours truly. It's a hemisphere of copper that I heated up, as well as quenched it, causing the atoms and strengths and stresses in it, as well as the undercover of it I painted black, then pickled the entire thing so there's pointy things that grab at ambient energy in the air, and put it in a tree. Now trees are also receivers of radio signals and voltage if you put a brass tack dead center in a big tree. So I thought, well this little motor that even a good healthy button cell will drive it, and I just noticed that the motor itself seems to be speeding up. Okay, well, it's windy out here. The sun coming down, sun angle. Let's just zoom in a bit here. Running very fast. I roughly say about 5 pounds energy here on this part here. Here, I'd have to calculate that out, but at least 5 pounds operating my finger. How many revolutions? I don't have a dynamometer, but seems to be a-okay. 1, 2, several revolutions per minute, 3 revolutions per minute roughly. Working on ideas of radiant energy, I decided, well, give it a try and see if anything happens. Well, apparently it did. But again, this motor takes very little energy. I'll just zoom in on the connections for you. Black and red. And I think the red is going up here. I'll try and get up closer. There we are. Okay. Again, that's treated much like what Tesla described in his articles a long time ago. Pickled, heated, and quenched, painted black. Now, if you look at the radiant energy devices of Tesla's time, you'll see that it is a copper plate up high in the air, coming down to an accumulator. I don't have an accumulator in this setup here, but I can put one in. And also solenoids. In Tesla's time, mostly all solenoids were used on a lot of his tests. Long forgotten technology, coherers as well, were used as well. So, this is basically kind of a very simplistic setup. I didn't think anything would happen, but again, I used to play with radiant energy years ago and got good results. So the setup is here. I'm going to try and move around. And that's the ground. It's on a rod, steel piece of rebar. Strange wire going into the tree. Chunk of copper up there. That's the positive. Running into the motor. Negative running into ground. Really a simplistic thing. But again, like I mentioned before, these motors take very little energy to drive them. And they're also a generator as well. Time frame 1950s. Now, I was doing experiments with barium titanate. I no longer have the barium titanate because I was walking down the hall with them and slipped a bit on something, and they fell on the ground, broke into a million pieces. I tossed them out, so I don't have any barium, but it doesn't matter anyway, because barium titanate is interesting unto itself and resonates at certain frequencies, but so does this thing here. So this will work in various applications. It will work on an earth battery. I tried that. I didn't film it though. It'll also drive the other brother of this if you turn the shaft. What else can power it? Solar cells will power it as well. Some of my other accumulators, 1 farad each, will drive it for quite a long time. So I thought, well, today I'll try the radiant energy idea, and what the heck, it is working very good. These poles here are just poles. They're not connected to anything. They're just around this lumber stack. I think I'd mentioned that before. Okay. So anyway, that's my crazy experiment of the day. Zoom in on it. Many people ask where they can find these motors. I have no idea. I mean, I found them in a scrapyard and used to play with them a little bit. Then I discovered that the energy, they take very little energy, so there I'm pressing down extremely hard on it. You can see I'm digging into the rubber. My fingernail. They're extremely well built. Roughly 5/8 shaft, very heavy casting. The wires are pretty tough, you can see here. And cool. So I think it's running at optimum speed. The optimum voltage to go into these, as indicated on them, is 24 volts to 28 volts. Okay. Revolution 600 per minute, as I recall. There's a number here I never noticed before though. 33429. Okay. Let's see, what can I do with this thing? Oh, it's heavy. Alright. Trying to move it. What I do is, if it's not raining, I'll let it sit here and see what happens in maybe, well, until it gets dark. Just let it sit here, what the heck. Okay folks, thanks for watching, and let me know how your tests go with this kind of stuff too. Thanks. Cheerio.